Today's episode is presented by Vaya. Vaya was founded with the goal of building an affordable, everyday wristwatch that blends tasteful design with extreme durability and functionality. Vaya returns a sense of dignity to affordable wristwatches and are built to last. Vaya is a true American watch company specializing in both quartz and automatic watches. Vaya is offering our listeners 15% off if you use the code PODGO15. That's PODGO15. Go to vayawatches.com to learn more and get your new timepiece today. And because we've got so many American listeners, it's a great way to support the show. All right, thanks to Vaya, and let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Regen, the e-racing podcast. I am your host, Dino, and joining me, a man who is basically a Formula E prophet, correctly calling the podium for Rene Rast. It's Chris Soulsby.
Hello, Dino. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very happy to be back. Happy to be chatting Formula E once again.
Yeah, agreed. It's been a long old time. Season 6 is done. Rene Rast has a podium. And yeah, I feel like Jesus.
Wow, have you died and come back to life, or you...
No, I haven't risen yet.
Okay, yep.
I'm still in bed. I'm joking.
Still in bed, right. Well, I got up, so I have risen at 6 in the morning to do this, so yeah, cracking, ready to go, had my coffee. Yes. Now, Chris, we've got to get this out of the way. Correctly calling the podium... I didn't think it would happen, but here we are. So I'm gonna roll the audio from a couple of episodes ago, and we'll talk about it. Thoughts on how it'll go, Chris?
I think it's an exciting signing. I mean, he's raced in Formula E before he did the Berlin race in Season 2, when it was at Alexander Platz and the other Platz, which I can't remember. All the Platzes. And he was actually quite good. He was driving for Aguri. He didn't finish the race because he was hit by Bruno Senna. But he was decent. And it was the first time he'd raced single-seaters in a long time. And it will be this year. But I think he'll do quite a good job, in all honesty. He's a very quick and talented driver, as we know from the DTM. He's very handy behind the wheel of a racing car. And I think he will impress a lot of people. And yeah, I think it won't be hard to overtake Daniel Abt in the Drivers' Championship. I hate to say it, but I think he'll finish ahead of Abt.
Oh, really?
Formula E for 6 seasons. Okay, big prediction here. Hold on to your seat. Rast will get a podium in Berlin.
No way. Nah,
there you go.
I'm
Rast
sorry.
will win the championship.
A podium.
No. I think it's there because Audi are very good in Berlin.
They are very good.
A test coming up in July. I mean, he'll develop and it's such a quick learning curve. I think he'll do it. I really do. And if I do, I'll be shocked. If he does do it, I'll be shocked.
So, after that, what called you to just Rene Rast? And I mean, I'm just in awe because it didn't happen in race 4. It happened in the second to last race, but that was a pretty bold prediction.
Yeah, I was blown away when it actually happened. I never thought it would happen. When I said it, I thought, oh, what an idiot saying that. He'll never do it. It's such a high caliber field. It's Berlin. He's never driven that car before. It can't possibly get a podium. So when he got that podium, I was very happy. I was actually shouting at my TV going, oh my God, I can't believe it. But then the thing is, listening back to that audio, I remember saying, that if that happens, and I was going to say I will get like a tattoo of Rene Rast on me. And I'm so glad I didn't say that. Because, I don't want Rene Rast on my body.
Why not? I mean, he's a good-looking dude.
I mean, he's the greatest of all time now, isn't he? Let's face it. Because, I mean, what a podium it was, too. I mean, I never thought it would happen. I'm as shocked as you, and I actually predicted something correctly, which is even crazier.
Well, I unfortunately predicted points for Neo, and they let me down. So Oliver Turvey, if you're listening, shocking, mate, shocking. Poor form. You're a great driver, but poor form. So if you want to come on the show and explain yourself, happy to. That would be great. But yes, not all predictions are winners. So we will have to wait until next season. That's it for Formula E for Season 6.
Yeah, all over and done with now. It's weird to think because we started this in November last year. We've barely raced, let's face it. And there was this massive 5-month gap. And then in the space of 9 days, that's it. It's done. Click of your finger, blink of an eye, finished, and that's Season 6 wrapped up. And that's bonkers. We won't race again until January.
Yeah, I know. No December coming in this time. It's all starting in 2021. But firstly, before we continue, we need to Media of the Week, which I'm sure the listeners have been missing, getting their bi-weekly or monthly fix of things to watch, listen to, read, or whatever. So, my Media of the Week is a Netflix show called Little Animals. And Little Animals embark on huge adventures across the US in dramatic nature series that explores their hidden worlds and epic survival stories. The first episode is some little kangaroo rat. Really cool. And it's based in Arizona.
Okay.
And so it's got the cowboy vibes. I'm not sure if that's a real thing or it's just dramatized or whatever, if there are cowboys in Arizona. It was quite funny. There's this, spoilers. A snake steals his home and then he lures this hawk to have a showdown with the rattlesnake. So There you go. Interesting. It is dramatized, and there's a voiceover with what this little kangaroo rat's feeling and stuff. Which, okay, cool, but worth a watch. Have a look at episode 1 and see if it's your thing.
I'll have a peek at that.
And so, Chris, do you have one?
So my Media of the Week. I don't. But I can nevertheless rattle something up like that snake. So my Media of the Week is a program that I've been watching for many years, actually. I grew up watching the Antiques Roadshow now. And, I don't have a Media of the Week because I've been watching Formula E so much. But my Media of the Week is the Antiques Roadshow, which is usually on every Sunday. I don't know if it's on at the moment, and it's on in the UK. I'm sure if you really, really, really want to watch this, you could find it somewhere. But it's about a roadshow about antiques. Really, it's its name's very good in that respect. It does what it says on the tin, and it's about random people who have objects of value that get them valued at a roadshow. That's it. And it's quite good, and it's really fun. I like antiques. It's interesting. You learn about the object, the history of the object, and if it's valuable, if it's not. And the presenting team's good, and the antiques people are good. So, I mean, why wouldn't you want to watch that? At the end of the day, it's top quality television on a Sunday evening.
That has to be one of the most British Media of the Weeks I've heard.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have seen it, and my thoughts on it is it's actually really interesting.
It's good, isn't it?
It's also good to see like these people that, my grandma passed it down to my mum, and it finally made its way to me, and what? How much is it worth? Oh, this is going in auction,
Yeah. Does it have any sentimental value to you? Oh, I could never part with this. You can guarantee you'll be palming off your 10 grand watch.
Yeah. Oh, I could never part with it. And do you have a auction coming up? Because,
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, just out of curiosity.
Just out of curiosity. And, I mean, there's not a lot I wouldn't sell, to be fair. So good on these people that have looked after these things for so long and able to palm them off to collectors or whatever. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, moving on, we have some news. Pascal Wehrlein going to Porsche. The worst kept secret in the world is now announced that Season 6 is done. He's going to be driving at Porsche for Season 7, replacing Neil Yanni, a great pickup for the German team, who now have the ability to score some mega points in the championship, and it's been no secret where he was going, but it really is an exciting move. Both drivers haven't won a race yet in Formula E, but that is definitely likely to change in Season 7, Chris. So your thoughts on this one?
I think it's a great signing from Porsche. I mean, we've known about it for months, but it's a great signing. So Pascal left Mahindra at the end of the Race at Home Challenge because, I mean, I would have been fed up if I was racing in that thing. And yeah, he's going to Porsche next year, and Porsche this season at least showcased that they have a semi-competitive package. Lotterer got 71 points, I want to say, and got 8th in the team's championship or something. I might not be right on that. I don't have notes in front of me. But, that's a good start. It's not Mercedes EQ by any means. But bearing in mind one driver delivered and the other one was off the pace, yeah, that's a positive benchmark. And I think getting Pascal Wehrlein in that car will be very positive. He got a pole position and podium in his first season with Mahindra. He certainly almost won a race in Mexico City before he ran out of energy. So he should have at least one win. And I think he got Mahindra's best finish of this season as well. So yeah, I think that's a good signing from them. And it at least gives them 2 drivers who are very capable in Formula E that can push for the high scoring points. And I think there'll be a team to be reckoned with next season for sure.
Yeah, yes, you were correct on the team standing and driver. But yeah, like you say, it's for Porsche and also the team above them, having one driver that's scoring all the points, it really has hampered them in the team's championship. Mm-hmm. So they almost beat Jaguar in their first season. So yeah, that's it does say a lot. So yes, an absolutely powerhouse lineup coming in for Season 7. And talking about powerhouse lineups, a bird flying over to Jaguar for Season 7. So, Sam Bird, he needs no introduction in Formula E. He's been there from, Season 1, I think.
Yeah.
So, this is mega for him to be leaving DS Virgin, Envision Virgin, and DS Virgin.
Throwback.
Yep, sad times.
Throwback to happy memories.
Yeah, exactly. Robin Friends is going to be joined by another Kiwi, Nick Cassidy, which I'm excited about. He got the fastest lap in the rookie test, and yeah, he's just an all-round quick driver, especially we've seen him in Japan for the past few years, just nailing it. Multiple champion in a lot of those series, so it's a good pickup for Virgin. But yes, Jaguar, that's going to be massive.
Yeah, I think it's a good signing from Jag, and it's the signing that they want as well. Because Jaguar have been in pursuit of Sam Bird for many seasons now, but he's been very loyal to Virgin and he's been there, which is fair enough. They're a very good team. But, this Jaguar car, I think, will be more competitive than the Virgin car because it's a works outfit. The Virgin team's a customer team to Audi. With Virgin, you might win a few races, but realistically, compared to works outfits, you're never going to really challenge for the championship, if I'm honest. But with Jaguar, you just might be able to do that. if they're able to get their act together, which in Berlin they didn't. But this is a great move from Jag as well, because, since Jag entered Formula E, they've had Mitch Evans, and Mitch has been absolutely fantastic. He's demonstrated his true worth in Formula E, and he's shown that he's probably one of the best drivers on the grid at the minute. Deservedly so, but that shows. And the second-seated Jag, for the past few seasons now, hasn't really been anything stellar. They had Adam Carroll in season 3. He didn't really perform. They ousted him, got Piquet Jr. in. And in season 4, things were working really well for them. It was like clockwork, double points finishes. Piquet was up there, Mitch was up there. They were both delivering. But that ended very quickly. And I actually think season 4 is Jaguar's largest points hold to date still. And Piquet didn't deliver in season 5. They got Lynn in. Lynn did a good job, but reliability robbed them. And Collado was pants this season. And yeah, it's finally, I don't want to say credible, but Jaguar have finally hired a credible teammate to Mitch Evans who they know will deliver. And I mean, personally, I think Alex Lynn should have had the drive for season 6. I think a lot of people agree with that. It was a shock to Mitch Evans when he found out that Collado was going to be his teammate. And Collado didn't deliver. I don't think he was ever going to deliver for them, unfortunately. Because, the turnaround and experience is just too much too soon. And yeah, and this is a great signing.
They should have got Tom Dillman,
Yes, Tom Dillman, bring that man back, give him a drive.
Shout out Tom Dillman. I do hope he actually listens to this. That'd be awesome.
It'd be great. Constantly.
Yeah. I mean, we tag him on Twitter constantly, so he must at least be annoyed or aware of us at the stage.
We should start like a campaign of hire Tom Dillman, someone. Get him in at Dragon.
No one wants that.
That's sad. That's torture.
Yeah, that is sad. So, speaking of Dragon, before we get on to MotoE, speaking of Dragon, Brendan Hartley, one Kiwi out and one Kiwi in next season, replaced by Sergio Sette Camara. So Hartley's still the only point scorer for the team this season. Didn't even race the last 6. I've got to say that what continues to hamper Dragon, because they just can't get it right. Nico Muller looked good in flashes, but the car is just way behind anything else on the grid apart from the Neo.
I don't know. I just think it's the team environment, because I would love to be a fly on the wall in the Dragon team.
Same.
Because I think it must be total anarchy every week. I don't know if toxic's the correct word, but tumultuous seems correct. Up and down, very unpredictable, and massive random swings. And the thing is, I think, in motorsport, how well a team is doing. Okay, if a team's good if they can keep hold of their drivers. But when a team starts chopping and changing drivers very quickly in the blink of an eye without informing people, that's when you think, maybe the team isn't that great. And for Dragon, I mean, this blew me away when I looked at it, because the amount of drivers that Dragon have gone through in the past few seasons is insane. In season 4, who did they have? They had Neil Jani, Jose Maria Lopez, and Jerome D'Ambrosio. Jani left, D'Ambrosio left, then they got Max Gunther in for season 5, booted him after 3 races, got Felipe Nasr in, booted him after 3 races, got Gunther back. Lopez turned round after that and said, I'm never racing in Formula E again. He's scarred. And then they hire an all-new driver lineup for this season in Hartley and Muller. Hartley leaves after 5 races, and then they get Sergio Sette Camara in. There's no consistency in that team. And I think if they want to really deliver, they need a driver who is willing to stay there for a long-term project. But that would never happen because it's Dragon. And, don't like kicking drivers too much.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what's going on with that team because, I mean, back in the day, Dragon they're one of the top teams. Fair enough, everyone was using the same powertrain in Season 1. But even in Season 2, when they had the custom Venturi car, they were good. They beat the Works outfit, and they delivered. And, I mean, at the start of the season, we did think, in pre-season testing anyway, oh my god, we might see Dragon come back to form, because they were really quick in pre-season.
I
in
know.
a one-lap pace. The car was good, but they just need to hit reset, because year on year, they get worse. At the end of every season, I write my season summary for Motorsport Monday, and it's, Dragon had their worst season yet, and it's the same this year. And I've been saying that since Season 4 now.
Yeah, well, at least that's one less thing to write about.
Yeah, it's sad, really.
It is.
Because they're going the same way as Neo as well. I mean, Hartley only got those 2 points in the first or second race of the season because there were so many penalties. Realistically, Dragon shouldn't have had points this year if nothing had gone wrong for the competitors in that second race.
They just need to hit reset. Enough about them. What did you think of Tom Blomqvist coming in for the last 2 races?
Tom Blomqvist is another driver that deserves a chance, I think. He was brought in to replace Collado, obviously. And in that first race, he was looking quite good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He hadn't driven the Jaguar car before and put it in Superpole, qualified 6th or 5th, I believe. And points didn't materialise, but qualified Evans. In the second race, he wasn't inside the top 10, but he gave everyone outside the top 10 a fair show, I think. Bearing in mind he hasn't done any laps in that Jag as well, up until he hopped in the cockpit. I think that's encouraging, really, and I'd love to see him back in Formula E.
Yep, absolutely. There's a lot of guys that you think should be back there.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of the grid is performing quite well comparative to their car. Who do you kick out? That's it.
This is the thing. It's put him in a Dragon.
No.
That would be harsh on Tom Blomqvist. Second BMW for next season.
Oh, yeah. He was there, I'm sure they could easily bring him back.
Yeah,
is he still a BMW factory driver?
I think so.
Oh, well, there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah. Do you think Sims is under threat, though?
I think Sims is going to leave at the end of the season. Well, it's the end of the season. I think Sims is going to leave BMW, yeah. Right.
He won't be on the grid.
I think he'll be on the grid elsewhere, but I don't know where. I haven't thought about it.
MotoE. MotoE is back. It was back in July at Jerez. The first race was dominated by a familiar name, Eric Granado. And of course, MotoE, quite short races, great entertainment. You could watch the whole season in one sitting, really, because they're only about 8-minute races. So that's back. So we've got 2 to catch up on. Yeah, have you been getting back into the MotoE?
I haven't, sadly, but I'd love to. I need to cheer on. I was going to say Bradley Wiggins, but he rides bicycles. So Bradley Smith, I believe, is the man.
Bradley Smith is not in it this season. I think he's actually in MotoGP.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I picked the right one last year, didn't I?
Yep. So he's either in MotoGP or Moto2. One of the listeners out there will know. But yeah, he's moved on to bigger and better things. There's still quite a few good names in there. So the MotoE entry list: Alex DeAngelis, Maria Herrera, Nicolo Canepa, Xavier Simeon, Matteo Ferrari, still the only Ferrari to win a championship in a long time, Josh Hook, Nicholas Tyrrell, Xavier Cardelis, Mattia Cassidy, Lucas Tulovic. Oh, Bradley Smith is there. My apologies. Haven't seen him. Anyway, Jordi Torres, Eric Granado, Alessandro Zacconi, Mike D'Ameglio, Nicky Chuli, Tommaso Marcon, and Dominque Agurta, which he was... he won the second race. Spoilers, sorry.
He's my favourite.
Okay. Yep. Right. So go and watch that MotoE. It's back. It'll take you probably half an hour to watch a couple of races, so it's really good value. And there's a lot of overtaking. All the bikes are the same, so yeah, it's really on the driver or rider. Some final questions. Firstly, what happened to Jaguar in Berlin? Technical failures on the side of Collado and just mired in the midfield cost Mitch a chance at the title. They finished 7th overall, and a pretty shocking Berlin 6 races from them, you've got to say. What went wrong, do you think, for them?
I'd love to know, because I think it was quite embarrassing, actually. If I was at Jaguar Racing, I would feel embarrassed about how the team performed in Berlin, because they left, halfway through the first half of the season, a quarter in, basically, facts, quick maths, they were looking good. Mitch got the pole in Santiago, I believe. He finished 3rd despite his car failing entirely on him. Then he dominated in Mexico City, one of the most dominant races we've seen in Formula E. They knackered his qualifying in Marrakesh. And then he fought through the field to finish 6th or something, which is the most positions ever gained in a Formula E race before, which is an incredible performance. And he was 2nd in the championship, and everyone thought, I certainly thought that Mitch was going to win the title. I was convinced he was going to do it. And then the team were absolutely nowhere. And it was just, it isn't the Jaguar Racing we know. It was like a Jaguar Racing of old, wasn't it? It was just, there was a lot going wrong at every stage, seemingly. And especially for James Collado as well. I felt so sorry for the guy. Because in that first race of the week, everything went wrong for him. There was a software fault in the first practice session of the morning. This is just like a roadmap here of what went wrong. Yeah, the software fault in the first practice session of the morning. Jaguar didn't know what that was, so they changed his entire powertrain, got it repaired within the 45-minute window, so he still went back out on track. After 3 corners, the car broke down. It had the red light on it, which meant that it wasn't in a safe state, which meant that they had to change the battery on the car, which gave him a 60-place grid penalty once they changed everything, so inverters, motor generator unit, and battery. So he was starting at the back of the grid, and the first lap he did in Berlin was his full power 250 kilowatt lap. Yeah, everything went wrong for Collado. And it was absolutely shocking. It was rubbish. And
I've got a stat here for you. In the last 4 races, okay, so the first 2 races, they're, backwards, and even I was having a tough time, something's wrong here, the cars are going around the wrong way, but yep, so the reverse track, those 2 might have been an anomaly, but the last 4 races, they were outscored by everyone except Venturi, Dragon, and Neo.
It says it all, doesn't it?
Everyone else absolutely destroyed them.
It's impossible to believe, because the Jaguar Racing we saw before the lockdown and the shutdown and the suspension, it would have been impossible to believe. And Jaguar hasn't really performed well in Berlin in the past. Apart from if you're Alex Lynn, you do perform well in Berlin, and you show that you should have a full-time drive in Formula E.
Correct.
But it was crap. It was awful. And I think they were shocked as well, though. They turned up thinking they were going to be there or thereabouts, and they weren't. They might as well have been racing the IPC trophy cars, because it was so much slower. And I think they were at a loss, and a lot of teams have improved, clearly. DS Techeetah made massive inroads, or outroads, because they were already the team to beat. But then there were a few teams, I think, that it came as a shock. Venturi certainly struggled. They didn't showcase their old form. And Jaguar was the other team that experienced that. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's lockdown or, but certainly a thorough investigation needs to follow into that. If I was Sam Bird, I'd have a bit of a sweat on as well, because I'd be very nervous about joining that team next season.
Yeah, if Porsche scored 4 points, they would be above them in the championship.
And that's crazy.
In the
that
last
makes
race,
it even more terrifying. Because, it's mad. Something went catastrophically wrong in Berlin. And I think their best finish was 7th over the 6 races or something.
Yeah, it didn't go well. It did not go well. The other one, BMW, getting beaten by Virgin because round 9, 10 and 11, no points for them. Just fell to bits after Maximilian Günther's win.
It's the same case for BMW, really, because they're another team that failed to really perform. They got the 25 from Gunther's win, and I think he started from pole as well, so 25, 26, 28 points, counting on his fingers like an amateur. And then I think Sims got 1 point, and that's another question of what even went wrong. But we saw this last season as well. BMW started off very strongly last season and then showcased like a total inability to seal the championship again, and that's another team that needs to investigate what went wrong, because they certainly didn't live up to expectation. Because the BMW was one of the quickest cars probably on the grid. I mean, certainly they were very dominant in the first 3 races, but it's like someone flicked a switch in Berlin and went, no.
Yeah, they almost lost out to Audi as well, which were way behind, but round 10 and 11, Audi scored 16 and 20 points and just held them off by 4 points. So let's have a rundown. Obviously, DS Cheetah, 244, 167 for Nissan, 147 for Mercedes, 121 for Envision Virgin, and that's a good recovery from them, from that team actually. So that's more than encouraging on their side of the garage. BMW 118, Audi 114, 81 for Jag, 79 for Tag, Porsche, Mahindra 49, and to be honest, that's a good recovery because they were well behind Rocket Venturi. Venturi dropping down to 10th, Geox Dragon, and then Neo. So there's quite a few gaps, especially from 79 to 49, and then obviously from 44 and 10th down to 2, and then 0 for 11th and 12th place. Standout team of the season. Who's your standout team of the season? Obviously DS Cheetah, with those 2 drivers, with the team, we expected another title. I'm giving it to Nissan.
Yeah, it's a good one.
The twin MGU setup, they had to really go back to the drawing board. That was outlawed, so a single MGU, and they've made it work. They've obviously done a lot over the lockdown and some big points, so they'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Nissan is a very good call. I'm going to have to say Neo. Bringing the flair to the back of the pack. And obviously, the rename to the 333. The 3 is bringing all the luck within the point standings. Yeah. I don't know. I think it has to be between DS Cheetah, because total dominance. It was incredible to see that team. And once more, they showed that they're the best team in Formula E. But then Nissan as well, with the whole technical shake-up as well, because they'd developed their Season 6 powertrain, and then all of a sudden it was, your twin MGU is banned, and then they go completely back to the drawing board and redesign the thing. And to finish second in the team's championship, off the back of that setback, is impressive. But then I think I'm going to say Mercedes EQ, because, it's their first full season on the grid. Obviously, they had that CITA season with HWA Race Lab. but it was their first powertrain designed in Brixworth. And they had this start, which was encouraging. They got the double podium in Diriyah, and it was that's good. Was it a fluke? And then things weren't quite going right in the following races. Sorry, but then in that final race, total team control, a 1-2 to end the season. I think it's very good performance, and they came out as the top German team as well, which is one of the big strategic fights of the season as well, because they're up against BMW, Audi, and Porsche. And for a brand new team to certainly beat Audi, which is one of the powerhouses of Formula E, and then BMW, which were winning races, I think that's a very good show. I think Mercedes have to be my team of the year.
Yeah, fair enough. We forgot to talk about... There's a couple of things, but we forgot to talk about Felipe Massa leaving Venturi, absolutely destroyed by his teammate Eduardo Mortara. Mortara on 41 points, Massa on 3. It just didn't come together for him this season. Absolutely struggling all the way through. That seat is going to be a very good one to potentially get. Hashtag Tom Dillman. He's raced for them before. Come on. Yeah, your thoughts on Massa's season, Chris?
I think it was a difficult season, wasn't it? And I was actually listening back the other day for, nostalgia reasons. I listened back to Felipe Massa's first ever press conference in Formula E as a Venturi racing driver. And he was very optimistic and he had very high hopes. And I think season 5 was encouraging for him. He got that podium. He actually got more points finishes than Mortara as well, but he didn't manage to beat him in the standings. And this year there was a lot of high expectations. Obviously, the Venturi car with the Mercedes powertrain partnership, which is fantastic. And things just didn't gel, did they? But I think with Felipe as well, by the end, we heard there were a few quotes published online where he'd kind of fallen out of love with Formula E because of the energy management side and the energy reduction and the safety car in full course yellow conditions. And he was like, we're racing drivers, we're not here to manage energy, we're not mechanics and engineers on top of that. And I think he'd just kind of fallen out of love with Formula E. But looking at his season on a whole, he was very unlucky. He was very unlucky. And I think in Berlin, he should have scored more points. In Diriyah, he got a penalty. In Santiago, the team was doing quite well. They were on course for like a 4th or 5th place finish. And then he was hit. He made contact with Mortara and then was hit by Abt as well. And that was his best finish of the year. But then didn't really gel in Mexico City and Marrakesh. But then in Berlin, the amount of problems he had. Fair enough, he did crash when battling Van Dorn for the points in the first race, quite spectacularly. But, he got that drive-through penalty for the incident with Degrassi. And that was harsh. It was Degrassi's fault. Let's put it that way. And Massa got the penalty. And then, again, he had software issues. He had strategy miscalculations, I think. Or at least in that one race where he didn't finish because
he ran out of energy.
And time again, it was just bad luck. And his qualifying performances were good enough, and he deserved to leave Berlin with more than what he did. But yeah, I think it's fair enough, really. It's his decision, and if things aren't gelling in the championship, then they're not gelling in the championship, really.
It was good to see him back racing again, but yeah, I think that's it. And he'll look back on it fondly, and he might be an advisor, or he might be announced as like a reserve, or
precisely. I think he's a great asset to that team, and he may not have achieved what he wanted to, but the standout moment of his time at Venturi was without a doubt that podium in Monaco, because it's their home race as well. And that memory right there must be very special. So, yeah. Didn't work out, but I think he'll look back at it with happy memories and go, you know what? It was interesting for season 5. I had fun, and then season 6 was awful. But
so driver standings: Sergio Sette Camara, Tom Blomqvist, Ma, Nico Muller, and Oliver Turvey on 0. Oliver Turvey gets 24th because he obviously got the highest up the grid out of everyone there, the highest finish. 2 points for Brendan Hartley, Massa 3, Apt on 8 points. 8 points also for Neil Jani, 10 for Collado, 14 for Verline, almost beating D'Ambrosio and Lynn, who are the next two up for Mahindra, 16 and 19. Rene Rast with 29 points.
Yeah.
What a machine.
It's impressive.
Yeah. 41 for Mortara, Sims on 49, didn't work out for him. Robin Freins, I thought he would be higher up the standings with 58. Nick de Vries, 60. 63 for Bird. Maximilian Gunther on 69. Lotterer, 71. 71 for Evans. 77 for Degrassi. 83 Roland. Buemi, 84. That was close. 86 for Jean-Eric Verne. 87, sneaking past him, Stoffel Van Dorn. And then, of course, way out in front, he didn't even bother with the last two races, really. 158 points, Antonio Felix da Costa. He had it wrapped up super early on, and then managed it from there. An amazing victory. We didn't expect... Well, we knew he could do it, but we thought Mitch or someone else might have him. But no. So da Costa, yeah, a worthy champion, Chris.
Oh, absolutely. I think, yeah, Antonio Felix da Costa deserved it. And, he really demonstrated his class. I think last season when he did sign with DS Techeetah, at the end of last season, I think everyone kind of knew something special is waiting in the wings here. Because DS Techeetah are a fantastic, esteemed team. They're brilliant. And Jean-Eric Verne has, done fantastic things with them as well. So when you take Antonio Felix da Costa, who's a top-class driver in motorsport, and put him in that team environment with Formula E's only double champion and the reigning one to boot, something special is going to happen. You know when something special is going to happen in a motorsport. And it's one of those team pairings that have potential. Yeah, I think Antonio Felix da Costa was always going to be the champion, no matter what happened. I think even if coronavirus had never happened and we did hold the full calendar, he still would have come out on top. I really do think that. And he's driven with such consistency and confidence. But, I mean, there's been fireworks between him and his teammate in Verne, but he respected Verne a lot. And yeah, in some races it didn't go quite according to plan. And that's not da Costa's fault. I think that's the team's lack of management and, failure to define team roles that was the cause of that. But fully deserved at the end of the day. It was the most dominant championship we've seen to date. He made history. There was a point where he had a 100% podium record this season. Towards the end, after his third consecutive win over the course of 2020, hadn't actually finished below second at the checkered flag, which is insane. And that kind of consistency and that kind of dominance it's impressive. And I can't think of a more deserving champion, really. And I'm glad he won it. I'm very impartial, obviously, with my views, but he really deserved it with his drives this season. And yeah. Just above and beyond the rest of the field, really. There was a point in Berlin where I think we all knew that the only person who could stop him was Verne, because that car was so quick. But even then, Verne fell short massively. So, yeah, I think there'll be many more to come for da Costa in the future.
Yes, I think so too. I think, Verne, by bringing him to the team, has really put himself up against it, to be honest. It's a good test for him, though, so we'll see if he can come back and, take the title again in Season 7. But speaking of Season 7, who do you think has put themselves in the shop window for a drive? Tom Blomqvist, James Collado, Neil Jarney, or Brendan Hartley? Any of those that you could see moving into a drive?
Alex Lynn. I think.
Yeah, because he's only contracted to the
six
races.
6 races, yeah. I think if Mahindra don't sign up Alex Lynn, they're stupid. Let's face it, because his qualifying performances in Berlin were mental. It was incredible. And we're big fans of Alex Lynn on this show, let's face it. We always sing Alex Lynn's praises. But it's for a reason, because Alex Lynn is a flaming fast driver. And why he doesn't have a full-time drive in Formula E, I'll never know. Inexcusable from Jack not to sign him for Season 6. But if Mahindra don't take him for next year, I'm sorry, there's something wrong in motorsport. Because that speed and the points that he scored as well, that Mahindra car wasn't that good this year, let's face it. But he almost outscored D'Ambrosio in his time in Berlin. And D'Ambrosio did all of the races this season. And if that doesn't showcase, he's directly in the shop window, isn't he?
He is.
He's just, sign him, please. Someone sign him. Because he's the most deserving driver not on the Formula E grid to not have a full-time race seat. The guy's, since his debut in Season 3, where he got pole on debut for Virgin, he's been special. And it didn't pan out in Season 4. Jaguar shelved him in Season 5 for some reason, for the one they call Collado. And he should be back on the grid full-time for Season 7, I think.
Yeah, I've got to say, it's... Venturi's going to be sniffing around, so Mahindra better get their act together. Yeah. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. And, it's absolutely criminal he doesn't have a drive. It's I forgot about him for a second. He must, that just must be the case.
That's the thing, he's so good, you automatically think he has a drive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No one signs him because, he's already signed, let's be honest. We'll just move on to someone else.
That's why he hasn't driven full time.
Exactly.
He's already signed up.
Yep. Brendan Hartley, do you think he'll be back in Formula E? I probably don't think so. I think he's...
I don't think so, but I'd like to see him back.
Yeah. Right. So, final bits. Thank you to Huzu Graphics on Twitter for doing the amazing episode artwork for this episode. It is a very special one, celebrating Antonio Felix da Costa's victory and championship this season. Link in the show notes, as always, for all of our bits and pieces we talk about, and you can see Huzu Graphics work on our website, regenracingpodcast.com, and Instagram. Our Twitter is at Regen Racing, Instagram and Facebook, Regen E-Racing Pod. We can be found anywhere you listen to podcasts, and thank you for continuing to listen. We appreciate the time you take to do so, considering the amount of great motorsport podcasts there are out there on offer. And I'd like to shout out a couple. So Hit the Apex Jawad. He's always a great listen, friend of the show, and he's always interacting with us. So go and have a check out and listen to Hit the Apex podcast. The Outlap F1 podcast, John, James, who sadly is a Ferrari fan, and Andy. Unfortunate at this stage. They are awesome guys, based in the US, in Chicago. So go and listen to them. That's always fun. There's plenty of quality stuff out there. There's some good stuff by the guys over at MotoMouth. They do some awesome interviews with motorsport people, and they actually did one with Rodin Cars, who are sponsoring Jamie Chadwick. So yes. That outfit is based in Christchurch in New Zealand, where I'm from. I could literally drive there in an hour. Tempted. So go and check that out. It is a great listen about his the the owner of Roden Cars, and his sort of rise through the software world, and his love for motorsport. So that's a good one. Yeah, there's plenty. Don't have time to shout out everyone, but yeah, love you all. And with that, I think we're done, Chris. It's been a pleasure, as always.
It's been a wrap. It's been great fun to chat about Formula E for the first time in a while. And yeah, it's done. The season's finished, which is bonkers.
Yeah.
It seems like yesterday since we were talking about, where could we race to end the season? Will we end the season? And now we have a champion and another one. 2 champions.
Yes. So we will be keeping up with the news as it filters through, what's happening with all of the driver movements. And of course, we will have MotoE. Extreme E is back online with their news and driver announcements. So there'll be plenty to keep us going. Also, shout out to a Kiwi winning the final season of the iPace E-Trophy, Simon Evans. A fantastic way to win the championship over Sergio Jimenez. And yeah, very proud Kiwi here, and some great drives throughout the season to get that all-important championship for the final season of the iPace E-Trophy.
It was fully deserved, and I think it's nice to see 2 different champions in the iPace E-Trophy as well. Because Simon was the first driver to win an iPace E-Trophy race. And it's fitting for him to win the final championship title that the series will have as well. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, listeners. Take it easy. Keep safe. Bye.
Bye.